Welcome back to part 2 of this series where we discuss tips and tricks to conquer chronic pain. Now, a reminder that the contents of this video were derived from a TV program. The link to it is in the description. It'd be helpful if you watched it first. Now, without further ado, let's discuss the tips and tricks to conquer chronic pain from our friend Mary-Lynn. So a little bit about Mary-Lynn. She's a nun. When she had chronic pain, it made her really depressed. She wanted to contribute to society and her religion, but chronic pain made that really difficult for her. So the advice that Mary-Lynn has for us is that you will perceive pain differently over time. It will become something that doesn't bother you as much. Now, as someone that has chronic pain for a little bit over 10 years, I'm trying to think what is the best way to explain to someone so that they can understand this. So let me use an example, and hopefully it's easy to comprehend and it comes through on my message. So my nephew Charles, a few years ago, I asked him whether there's any bullies in school. And to my surprise, he said, yeah, there is a bully in school. And I said, so what does the bully do? And he says that the bully will jump out of nowhere and pinch his cheeks. And he hates his cheeks being pinched. So a year after that, I asked him again, hey, how's the cheek pincher going on? How's that going on? And he tells me that, oh yeah, the bully's still pinching his cheeks. But to me, it sounds like he wasn't as bothered by it as much. So early this year or end of last year, I asked him again, hey, how's the cheek pincher going? And to my absolute surprise, he tells me, oh, the cheek pincher is now my best friend. So you may tell me, Peter, hold on. No. Pain can never be my friend. And you know what? For some, that is the truth. Pain is still the absolute worst enemy. But what I'm trying to get across is that sometimes you perceive things differently over time, and that includes pain. If you think about it, over time, you may perceive your job, your occupation differently. You may perceive your place of residence where you live differently over time. And sometimes you even perceive your first love differently over time. You always perceive things differently. If you watch the video and notice the demeanor of the 3 guests that we had on the show, notice do you think their demeanor and their body language look like if they just started out with chronic pain? Think to yourself whether their demeanor is similar to your demeanor. How they perceive pain is still the same as the way you perceive pain. So the biggest thing to notice is that for Mary-Lynn, she said that pain doesn't bother her as much as before, and that's, I think, important to acknowledge that it could be a possibility for you as well. The second tip that Mary-Lynn has for us is work on goals and keep trying over and over and over again, and more importantly, to be flexible with your goals. So in the story, we found out that Mary-Lynn was working with her physiotherapist. Initially, she wasn't able to walk even around the block, which is about 200 meters. And at the end of it, collaborating with her physiotherapist, she eventually ended up walking the entire length of the Sydney Harbour Bridge, which I think is 1,149 meters. In the video, she told us, just keep trying over and over and over again. It's very important to be resilient. I did a bit of study and had a look. what can we do to become resilient? Experts tell us that to be resilient, we must maintain a good relationship with our friends and our family. And to be resilient, it's important to accept that change is part of life. And lastly, to be resilient, we must take actions to solve problems. We can't just wait and see and hope that it will disappear. And we don't just wait and think that they will resolve them by themselves. The third tip that Mary-Lynn has for us is that you can have pain yet still live a full life. Now, this isn't a tip that you can actively use, but it's important to share nonetheless. Chronic pain is all-encompassing. It affects your mind, your relationships, your job, your occupations, your lifestyle, your goals. It affects your most basic functions. Chronic pain isolates you. It binds you to your bed. It binds you to your sleep. You're not wrong to think that it's incredibly impossible to live a fulfilling life when you have chronic pain. But I wish you do a bit of research, whether that's definitely true or not. And I've found out through the years that there are people like Andy Murray, who suffers from chronic back pain, and he's a Wimbledon champion. There are people like Larry Bird, NBA Hall of Famer, and he had chronic back pain too. If you look at, I think it was last year, Tiger Woods had his possibly his greatest comeback ever. And if you watch his interviews after he won, he was talking about chronic pain as well. People like Lady Gaga, who's recently has a new song, and you can see her dancing around. She also suffers from chronic pain. So, and if you look at the three guests we had on the show, they also said that they've had a fulfilling life. I hope what I just said isn't too irritating to some of you out there. I understand that there are situations where it's just too much. I know how debilitating it can be. I'm not saying that you should go out and be a pop star or a superstar athlete. I'm aware that some people are completely debilitated by it. But I just want to say that I hope that you find something fulfilling, and that you can live a fulfilling life in accordance to your beliefs, and I truly hope so. Well, thanks for watching part 2 of this series. I truly hope that you learned something, and you can have something that you can take away and be useful in your life. Again, remember, your pain is my pain. So I truly hope you have a good day tomorrow, have a good week next week, have a great month next month, coming up to July, and you have great days way beyond that. So take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.